So it's further than that too. You look at voting patterns in the 2020 election. And I'm not sure if you're a Democrat or Republican. I think I know, but I'm just saying that the reality was the number one factor that influenced voting patterns in 2020, the presidential election, was whether you were married or single. And you look right now in this last election that took place, they did another study and they were talking about, the demographic that votes for, say, the Joe Biden, Democrat, socialist, whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of single moms there. And why is that? Because the support structure that a family would bring,
right,
a husband and wife, an entire family together, is lacking, and they need to look to government.
Yep.
And so, and who says big government? Democrats.
That's right.
Socialists, cultural Marxists. And they and I don't know how much longer we have in the state of Texas because of our family law, that we are going to, no matter what you say, oh, Texas is a Republican state. Texas is a Republican right now in name only. Many places, there's a lot of moderates there, but the margins of victory are shrinking and shrinking. And I think within 1 to 2 cycles, if we do not address the issue of the family, it was Lenin who said, destroy the family, destroy society. He knew that the moment you start to destroy the family, you can create a society that needs communism, that needs government dependence, that we, get the father out of the house, make sure the church is good and weak, and that's another issue in itself, but I won't go into that area. But I do not know if our Republican conservative legislators do not address this issue in 2 cycles, I think at the most, there may no longer be a Republican majority in the state of Texas.
Well, the majority of our Republican base is rural. You start getting into the dense populations of DFW,
right? I know. It's
San Antonio, Austin,
Democrat.
Houston.
Yeah.
Even in my area, it's dense Democrats that sit in there.
Right.
And then whenever you talk about the smaller pieces, yeah, you'll get some Republicans a part of that, but the GOP does not. They don't operate under the same that the Democrats, because they promise and promise and promise, and they'll give them one thing, and that's all they need.
Yeah.
Whereas we do have some conservatives that are trying to poke their head out, but they're very weak.
Yeah.
They're not strong enough to come forth and get over the hurdle of what that strong Democrat is promising.
Right.
And when they promise something, the rhinos that we talk about, we've got some of them in our county as well, that they jump ship to the Democrat side, or the Democrat jumps to the Republican side, but they are completely blue the entire way.
Right.
And they don't hide it after they're in the office.
Right.
So they'll jump across that line to get voted, and then they get right back to where they were.
Yeah.
And it happens time and time, and our family law has taken that initiative that in speaking to candidates, what's your biggest thing? And our candidate actually came out on a temporary basis. He came out and said it. Now, whether he does it, we'll see. But he came out on a temporary basis. Any divorce that comes to his plate and does no abuse, no domestic violence, nothing to do with alcohol, drugs, it's just totally fit, and it's just a separation of parents, temporary 50-50 will absolutely be granted.
Wow.
Across the board. Doesn't matter the financial situation, and to caveat with that is like, okay, so you do that, right? 50 and 50. Where's child support fall in? We'll have to deal with case by case. And I said, why? How many cases are initiated by women? How many cases are initiated by men? If you ask the men, I'll give you temporary custody of the child. Do you want child support? A majority of them would say no.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask on the female side, the mother side, almost all of them will say yes.
Yeah.
He should support.
Yeah.
I would give anything to have the possessionary time with my daughter.
Right.
I would never ask for a dime. Did I request it during our papers? Absolutely. If you don't ask for it, you're kind of putting the muzzle over your mouth to not be able to speak about it.
Right.
But I know a bunch of people that have actually went to the AG and said, we don't want child support anymore. But they don't stop. So what do they do?
Yeah.
They take that child support card and they give it to the parent. It's not my money. I don't want any more. It's not. It's yours. You use it.
Yeah.
But guess what the state gets to do? They get incentivized.
Yeah, you still get
They get to bring that up. So with that candidate does what he said he's going to do, I think we're going to have more and more.
Yeah.
The argument that the Bresnans and the family law bring is that the Family Law Foundation is that there's going to be more conflict.
No.
You
It's
can't.
just the opposite.
If judges would start doing this one thing, and I was very vocal whenever through the politics of all this, every modification that comes across your desk absolutely does not need to be heard. If you read it and there's actually something that's a substantial change, then sure, abuse, neglect, the things that CPS is supposed to actually foundationally investigate.
Mm-hmm.
If there's not that, then what are we talking about?
Right. And I think that's where you're going with saying everything get back to district court or civil court.
Yes, because as
family law is a joke.
It's a joke. At least in the civil court it's black and it's white.
Yeah.
In family law, the discretion is too high.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. In fact, in the case that I had, we couldn't show up at each other's pickup and drop-offs with the school.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't give a crap if she was there or not. I don't care. She can come. That's her child.
Yeah.
And then I got told, well, you can't go through the backpack during her possession. You cannot eat lunch on her possession. What are we doing here?
I know.
All because why?
So you cannot go to the school to eat lunch with your daughter because it's not your time.
Not my time.
That is.
And because mom doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Because mom doesn't want it. Or I can't go, when it was supervised, I can't go to her basketball games or dance or cheer or anything like that. But on my time, mom could come to my time. And she was there every time. She sat in the stands, she passed, walked by us and everything. But I could not go on her time. But she could come on my time.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a shame.
It gets to the point where what we're talking about is it's not to the point of the child anymore. It's just how much we can burden the other with.
Right.
And then if you get somebody who's as hard-headed as Jeff Younger, or hard-headed as some of these people, including myself, is that I don't know if we'll ever stop. We might be buried before we stop.
No.
Because
we're not going to stop.
Because Jeff Younger stated on Glenn Beck, there might be a sheriff's officer waiting on me when I get off the plane. And that's fine. Because I will not conform to unconstitutional taking my child and forcing me to make him into something he's not.
Right.
And I salute any parent that stands up in that version of a parenting scheme.
What I would say is that I've thought about this with my grandchildren, and there would be certain things that would never happen. Never.
Yeah.
I know that what they've done at this point is completely unjust and maliciously evil. But there are some things that it would not make a difference.
Oh.
If it would just be, I'm ex-military, leave it at that. We are supposed to go to other countries and to liberate countries and to make sure that people's freedoms are guaranteed.
Right.
And to fight oppressors. And yet we let our family court judges oppress us and destroy our families? No.